Hi class, this is a case study of Dell's Drive-In. My name's Leo Corcoran.
I'm Christopher Aure.
And I'm Norman Maestas.
Dell's Drive-In has been a business since July 1967, and that was made by Rachel Romo, who was the founder of this Mexican restaurant. It all started with Mrs. Romo's working for another restaurant in the same location in the city of Colton named Miller's Honey, owned and operated by a man named Dell. Dell recognized Rachel's love and passion for cooking throughout the years and that she had been working there for a while and decided she would be the best person to take over the former hamburger stand. Rachel also came to realize that she wanted to continue cooking, but for a restaurant of her own. She wanted to be able to manage her own restaurant in her own unique way, being her own boss. She spoke to her boss at that moment, and he made her an offer she could not refuse. Dell would lease the same property to her since he had thought of retiring with an option to buy. After discussing the Dell's offer with her husband, Robert Romo, Rachel opted to take it and start a business of her own. At the beginning, her restaurant, which was and still is named Dell's, only served delicatessen foods such as like hamburgers and stuff like that. And as time went by, she started to experiment and see what the people actually really like to eat. She tried tons of different things from Italian to pizza, even hamburgers, and she finally realized that Mexican food was what everybody preferred. Customers would continuously order just Mexican food. As her kids grew older, Rachel would bring them to work with her. Louis Romo Sr. and Mary Romo learned that the business was very young. By the time they were 15, they were helping Rachel take orders and helping with customers. They also learned to appreciate the restaurant as much more than a business, but also as their second home. In 2005, Rachel Romo passed away, leaving no succession plan to follow, so it kind of became a brawl between the brothers and sisters as to who was going to take over that. After a year of the restaurant being shut down, Louis Sr.'s wife Patricia Romo owned it, so she started to manage it, and Louis Sr. was in charge of the restaurant administration. In the year 2011, Louis Jr., Patricia, and Louis Sr.'s older son took responsibility of running the restaurant and allowing his mom and dad to step down. This was only to last for approximately 6 months due to the fact that the business was not providing him with enough financial support that his family needed. So as the benefits in the program and the restaurant started to do better and better and better, the family came to let it sit for another year unoccupied, and finally Patricia came back to it and opened it back up, and she still runs it to this day.
Chris here. I'll be talking about the situational analysis, and first we'll begin with internal. They're a family owned company, so they have a lot of conflict of interest at some points. This Their conflict of interest can involve some of the employees not working as hard because they think just because they're family, they don't have to work as hard. Also, some employees have been caught stealing from the register. External. They they are placed next to a shopping mall, and that makes them have a lot of competitors. They also don't have enough capital to keep up with technology that is rapidly advancing. Also, living in Southern California, there's always changing tastes because we are the foodie capital of the world. Also, there are also a lot of fads that happen within Southern California that can take away from the customer base of Dell's Drive-In. Furthermore, their customers are mostly Mexican drivers, people looking for a change in pace, regulars that live in the city, and students passing by.
So here's a SWOT analysis. So some of our strengths that we have are listed here, but we have a lot more. Um, it's a local Mexican restaurant, and there are not many around the area. There are one or two, but it is the most established Mexican restaurant that there is around the area. It was established in 1967, so a lot of people respect it and are able to see Dell's as somewhere to go for Mexican food as opposed to some of the ones around the place, like Taco Bell and stuff like that. It's not going to be the first choice when you have Dell's right around the corner. It's inexpensive, so it's very family friendly. A lot of people will come, take their families there, and have a nice dinner. Change of pace as a spaghetti instead of a spaghetti dinner or something like that. You just come to Dell's and have a nice Mexican food restaurant type of deal. They have a nice loyal customer base, returning customers on the regular because they have been there around the longest, and some people want to support small local businesses. They are loyal and they'll come back every single time to Dell's and help out with that. They have a strong Mexican culture because the area that they're in, there are a lot of Mexican people as well as people that just really enjoy Mexican food. So that helps them out a lot. As weaknesses go, their perceived cheapness. It is an inexpensive restaurant, so when people come in and they see the prices, they are kind of shocked. And when you see a lower price, you may think that with a lower price comes a lower quality product. Like when you go to McDonald's or something and you get a dollar chicken sandwich, and you think, well, it's not Chick-fil-A because it's not. It's only $1. So the perceived cheapness could be a weakness for them. Yelp, they don't have that much exposure on any social media, which I'll touch on in a bit. So with Yelp, it is a weakness because most people nowadays are going, most millennials at least, are going on Yelp and social media, and they're checking out what's going on and what's popping, what's the best thing around town. And Yelp is a good way to see, good way to measure what's popular in town. So if the reviews on there, there's only about 17, and they only have 3.5 stars. That could be a weakness to them because the less stars, less reviews, people aren't going to come to their restaurant as much. Mass appeal, that comes down to like a biological thing where most people's taste buds are different. So if you're not in tune with the Mexican flavors and you don't really like that, then you may not like it. So it may not appeal to the masses. The facilities are a weakness in some sorts because um, they're they're kind of old. It has been around for a while, and they haven't made many like huge renovations to it. So it's about 20 years old, give or take, with a certain look of it. So that could be a weakness, as people may want to go to a nicer place rather than a cultured and established place around town. As with opportunities, we have social media, word of mouth, and specials. Social media is a huge opportunity because Dell's is not on any social media. They have no Facebook presence, no Instagram presence, no Twitter or Snapchat presence, so they have lots of opportunities to grow in that area. You can do little things as just follow us and then see what's going on in the area, and maybe promotions and things like that with social media. So they really need to get that going. As with word of mouth, they have a large regular customer base, so they need to use that and have people simply go, I was eating at Dell's the other day, you should come to Dell's. Simple things like that. Specials, we were thinking that the best way to do specials was like Yelp incentives, or they already do Taco Tuesday and things like that. So maybe more incentive programs like that where they can bring in more customers on a daily basis. Checking in on Yelp and getting a treat would be really nice to help out with that. And that's a great opportunity to allow new customers to come along and get exposed to Dell's. Threats, we've got local burger places around the area because Dell's is known as Dell's Burgers, even though it is a Mexican restaurant chain. So local burger places do threaten Dell's business every day. We've got chain restaurants because Dell's is a sit-down restaurant. You can get takeout, which we can talk about later, but Dell's is a sit-down restaurant primarily, and any chain restaurant like Chili's, anything like that, will immediately take away from Dell's thunder. Politics, we were speaking about how with Trump's administration, we have no idea how things like this, restaurants like this, will be affected. So we never know what kind of threat that could pose. It is a family-run business, so we were saying like people feel entitled to a job. They may think that they have immunity over certain things, and it can cause problems within the business alone. So that's a big threat. Developing competitive advantages of the company. It's a family-owned, customer service-based company, so their family-owned customer service is very nice, and that's an advantage over things like McDonald's and stuff like that, where the customer service isn't that good. The established in 1967, so it's known, and it's known in the community, and it's a gem. So people love it, and they'll keep on coming back, and that's better than Subway has to offer in the area, you know. So it's better in general. It's a very good competitive advantage.
And objectives, marketing goals. The purpose of the company is to provide a steady stream of income. The restaurant is a family's mainstream of revenue. It is the main source of income and exists to support the family. Marketing objectives. To reach a new customer base using social media platforms and other promotional incentives, as well as continuing to please existing customer base.
The marketing strategy, we have a lot to cover. Promotional strategies, we've got specials like Taco Tuesday, family portion meals where you charge one smaller price for a larger amount of food, Margarita Mondays, and etc. We've got tons of things we can do for promotional strategies to keep customers coming back on a daily basis and getting some of those lower traffic days to become higher traffic days. We can expand on social media with Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, like I reviewed earlier in the SWOT analysis. Those are untouched, so we can definitely expand on those. Increasing Yelp reviews so that our reach gets further when people see how many reviews are on a restaurant and we pop up first. Our incentive program would be signing in onto Yelp, maybe writing a review onto Yelp and getting a free entree, something like that. When we move on to public relations strategy, we've got local event catering, so any local events that go on in the area we can cater. Fundraisers for local schools, athletic programs and such, having designated school nights. That's all talking about reaching out to the community and not just being another foot in the sand. So we can actually leave a mark on our community. So you're gonna want to give back to the schools, give back to the athletic programs in the area. At the distribution chain, we've got vendors that send us our bring us our ingredients, and we buy them wholesale, and then we prepare them inside the restaurant. And then once we prepare them, the customer receives the food either in a sitting booth or they can take out, so they can call in and they can actually get their order to go, or they could just sit down and eat it there.
The primary target market. Anyone who is trying to eat homemade Mexican or American food while being served with an amazing customer service. Below is a picture of one of the customers from the Yelp page of Dell's Drive-In. You can see that he's eating chips and salsa. Product. Customer service that makes customers feel as if they're part of the family. Homemade style and taste of both Mexican and American food. Their prices are low price and affordable. Things on the menu range from $2 to $15. In conclusion, they also need to increase their social media presence and to step up their marketing campaigns. They need to step up their social media presence, and they also need to ask for more Yelp reviews by incentivizing customers to promote more Yelp reviews. Also, they could step up their promotional sales, which includes Taco Tuesday and Margarita Mondays.
As we spoke about earlier, I believe that these promotional strategies will help the business succeed in the years to come. If they do not follow these layouts, they could possibly not succeed at all, fail and lose the business overall. Social media, technology, things like that are very present and ongoing today. So having no standing like that can really impact a company or a restaurant like this. So I believe, and we believe, that if they don't follow our advice, that this could possibly lead them to their doom. So we really want to push on them that our advice is actually good advice. So that's our conclusion. Thank you very much.